I'm Dr. Bridgette Walker, and I wanted to take just a few minutes to go over nutritional information that I'm hoping will be helpful for you. So, we're going to talk about what we eat, and I titled this session, Eat This, Not That. And it's really not, I mean, it is cut and dry, but it can be, there are options because all of us enjoy different foods. So, it should be clean. One of the things that we discuss and for me that makes it a sustainable lifestyle or life choice is that I do get to eat the things that I want, that I don't have to stick with someone else's prescribed list of foods, but I do get to pick and choose from the healthiest foods from those that I enjoy. So let's first talk about um, the fact that paleo, and it's often called a paleo diet, and I hate using that word because I don't feel like I'm on what we consider, like in our Western culture, diet restrictive diet. Because I'm not under this where I feel like I have to limit myself so much. I do watch my calories, my total caloric intake versus my TDEE, which is my total daily energy expenditure. So I try to balance those to maintain a healthy weight, but I also try to eat very nutrient dense foods within my caloric parameters. And I look at macros too. So it's layers of how we approach our nutrition. But for today, I wanted to talk about what those foods are. So we talk about the paleo standard and the paleo diet and how closely we stick with that. And so most of what you're going to see online and some of the things I have pulled up I'm going to share with you, they're like of the extreme. So they're showing you these are paleo approved, paleo friendly foods. And so there are very explicit lists. But then again, each person has to decide what is sustainable for them. And we have different parameters within our program where we have Friday where we fast, and then we have our treat meal that may include things that are not on the paleo approved list. So let's jump in though and get started with what are paleo foods. So what are the yes, no, and I'm going to try to share my screen. See if I can do that. And here's where I went to my search. This is one I found that I thought just is very cut and dry. This is from Pinterest, just a list of foods. So they call it their Paleo Cliff Notes, yes and no foods. So yes foods, proteins, and maybe we should even start with that. But it's like the food guide pyramid. We have proteins, we have vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and then other herbs and spices and seasonings and things like that. So you see the list of yes foods here, things like bacon, beef, chicken, turkey, pork, canned tuna, shellfish, fish, eggs, of course, fresh tuna, any fresh foods. Wild fishes are generally considered better, but farm raised are okay. Then fruits, all fruits in moderation, because fruits can be tricky. They can have a lot of sugar and have some negative effects on our blood sugar levels. So you do have to be kind of careful. At most anything I talk about concerning nutrition is things that I've experimented with on myself. So like I've tried eating these ways to see. And when I first started incorporating more fruit, I went to a real high level of fruit during the summertime just because I love fruit. And I could really tell a difference in my blood sugar levels. So in moderation, just keep that in mind. Then sweeteners, things like honey, molasses, maple syrup, coconut, agave, are all approved. Baking supplies, almond flour, coconut flour, flaxseed meal, baking soda, cream of tartar. Vegetables, pretty much any vegetable you can think of. Be careful when we're talking about pickles because how the pickles are made will affect how the pickle affects you. So like if it's a sweet pickle and it's made with buckets and buckets of sugar, I would stay away from those. But you can also make pickles with no sugar. So it varies from pickle to pickle. Nuts and fats. So we're going to look at almonds, almond milk, almond butter, almond flour. There is a fantastic almond butter that I have discovered, and now it's readily available. When I first started following the paleo diet, it was probably about 2.5, almost 3 years ago, and we've come a long way with what's available in all of our grocery stores, but there is a really, really fantastic almond butter that is available like at Walmart and any grocery store that is great. Cashews are acceptable. Other nuts, again, be careful because some of them are very high in calories, like pecans, which where I live, they're abundant, and we love pecans, but they are high in calories and high in fat. So you have to calculate all that in for your daily nutrition. And then oils, nut oils, coconut oil, flour flakes, etc., olives and olive oil, so like ripe olives or green olives, palm kernel oil, avocados, and seeds. And the same goes for the avocados. There's avocado butter, avocado oil, and things like that. And then other seeds like sunflower seeds and flax seeds, and my favorite, chia seeds. So those have a lot of fats and are acceptable. The no foods. And a lot of times people get, oh, you mean I can't have deli meat? What if I get the organic, this and this? Okay, the deli meats, the reason why it's on the no food on the proteins is because it's processed. It's a processed meat product. And there are times when that may be the better choice for you, like better than other options that are there, might be the best choice at that particular time. So none of this is to say that you're not ever going to have these foods. It's just these are, if we're following that true paleo diet, then that's where these come from. The no vegetables are no corn, no potatoes, and especially white potatoes, we generally try to stay away from those. Legumes, meaning beans, and that includes peanuts. So no peanut butter, but instead have almond butter or cashew butter. So legumes and beans are not on the true, strict paleo approved foods. No dairy. So that's anything made from dairy products, goes back to the different butters that are available. That does eliminate our cheeses and regular like cow's milk or goat's milk. Okay, stay away from grains such as wheat, rice, barley, oats, quinoa, rye, and soy. Those are, if you are following the strictest of the strictest list, then you stay away from those. And then sugars, of course, the white refined sugar, and then this list says artificial sweeteners, but again, this is the strictest list, and then all processed foods. So this is like the cut and dry list, but everyone has to adapt of what they can live with and how their body reacts. So there's that as a sample for you. There are several really good articles that I have found on, and they're all wanting to show me their ads, that you can read, that you'll see the links here. This is from Good Housekeeping, and it's on paleo diet foods. And it says right at the top, alcohol, bread, and nearly all sweets are off the menu. So they're breaking down the basics for you. So if you'd like to read more about the paleo diet to understand it, understand where the background is, that's in this article. What you can eat is you can eat lots of whole nutritious foods. And as your body gets used to being well fed and well nourished, you're going to have less cravings for the things that we don't need. The more water you drink, the more water you're going to want to drink. The more fresh foods you eat, the more you're going to want fresh foods, and you're going to learn to appreciate it. Something that's just really easy to think about is foods with few ingredients. So instead of thinking of conglomerated foods like casseroles, we think of other like individual foods, because then it's easier to keep up with what you're eating. There are ways to eat out. You can choose these foods when, you can make better choices when you're out versus always having to prep your own food and have your own food at home. But this is just part of reestablishing your food habits. And the paleo, going back to the whole idea of it being a diet. So if weight loss is your goal and fat loss is your goal, then you're going to want to have some type of intervention. So any prescribed way of eating can be an intervention. If it's intermediate fasting, if it's a keto diet, whatever, it's an intervention to change your behavior and to help you with fat loss and weight loss. But to eat paleo lifestyle, paleo diet as what you're eating, this doesn't always have to be an intervention. I mean, you can increase your calories so that you are eating at like I eat at a maintenance level so that I'm not gaining weight, but I'm not losing weight. So I eat a lot, but it matches my TDEE. And so I combine my foods like, my fruits, vegetables, and all those things to get to my caloric goal, and I maintain my weight by not going over my caloric goals for the day. But I do that while staying on and trying to stay within the paleo parameters. And I don't always keep those as tight as some of those lists are, but I just wanted to let you know that like a true paleo diet is very specific about the foods that are allowed or not allowed. And then we just want you to choose the most nutrient dense foods possible to help you get as healthy as possible. So as I said, there's several articles that are linked here that are really good, just information to help you understand the background behind a paleo diet. So we want to focus on lots of vegetables. We want a variety of meats coming from beef, pork, poultry, game, lamb, and bison. We want to incorporate seafood if you're not allergic, with fish, with shellfish such as oysters and shrimp and things like that. Then fruits, you want to be somewhat limited and be mindful of the sugar content in your fruit. Try to stay away from dried fruits. Even though they are fruit, they do generally contain more sugar or sometimes even added sugar. I read in a book once that said the closer the fruit grows to the equator, the more sugary it is. So you can think about like pineapples and mangoes, which are some of my favorite fruits. They are grown close to the equator, so they're going to have more sugar. So berries are generally better. Strawberries and blueberries meaning two of the top berries for us. So those are more nutrient dense choices. And then with the vegetables, the same. You can have such a variety of vegetables, but your most nutrient dense vegetables are going to be things like kale and spinach. And then if you're choosing a potato, a sweet potato is going to have different nutrients than a white potato. And we do suggest that you save your potatoes for your Friday night treat meal. And then it goes through other vegetables here again, squash. We eat a lot of squash, or I do, a lot of peppers, just because that's what I prefer. And I eat a lot of eggs because, again, it's something I prefer. So we want you to learn to structure your nutrition around the foods that you really enjoy so you will sustain it. We give you templates and we give you suggested menus that you can use and list, but overall at the end we want you to be able to pick and choose foods that you enjoy and that you like and understand how they fit into your daily caloric goals and your macro goals so that you can sustain this outside of following a prescribed meal every day that someone else chooses for you. We want it to be flexible for you. So I'm sure there will be lots of questions and people will have questions about this, and we will work through them as time goes on. But and I will share some of these links to these articles just so that you guys can have reference for them. Thanks. Bye.